Okay, it's time to start. And we should be live. Alright. So, good evening everyone. I'm back, and tonight we are going to work on FX animation. Mainly in Photoshop. As you can see, we have Photoshop in the background. I'm going to talk a bit about how to do a traditional animation in Photoshop, and eventually, depending on what we have the time to do tonight, what I have the time to draw, there will be a bit of construct too, for testing purposes, in order to see how the FX work in the game, because ultimately that's what matters. But also just to work a bit on a particle system that I've coded, and that is this is something I want to share with the community as well. It's just a flexible type of kind of particle system made in events in C2 that you can use to do all sorts of things with the sprite object. So let's get started. Here's what we're gonna do tonight. We are going to work on some FX. So this all works with the jack game, the lumberjack thing, this character. So we will have the axe drifting in snow, kind of snow waves or something when the trees fall, you know, stuff like that. We are going to have some, you can see it here, some wind effect maybe. It's not a priority though. The main priority is working on the effects that are related to the main assets, so all that works with gameplay, you know. Alright, let me get a sip of tea. Oh my god, it's hot. And we can start. So first things first, I'm going to make a copy of that background. I need the tree. I'm going to... what are we going to start with? We are going to start with the axe. So I'm going to take the axe. How can I do that? So with Photoshop you can actually work in... oh, the document seems small. Okay, you can actually work with videos now, in case you didn't know, since... oh, okay, you shouldn't crop a video layer. I don't know why it crashed, but it did crash. Okay, let me get that again. Just going to copy the axe. Okay, the axis. And I'm going to open... so I'm using an extension for the latest version of Photoshop, which is called the Animators Toolbar, and it's really good. No, don't put it that way. Hold on. So you can create an animation document. I'm going to create it like that, big enough, at 12 FPS, 12 frames per second, 1 second duration, and this should be good. Okay. Okay, so this is working. So we have a video layer that I'm going to rename as nothing, and I'm going to add another layer. Let me check. So we have a video group. Hold on, I don't remember where you actually create the layers. That's stupid. Okay. Hold on, it must be in layer, new video layers, new blank video layer. Right, that's that. And we are going to work on that layer. So how does this work? Basically, you can see that I can scrub through the timeline. I'm going to change the scale, by the way. That way. Okay. So I can scrub through the timeline, and those are actually individual images. Every tick on the timeline is an image. So I can draw something, go to the next frame, draw something else, and you can see that we have the start of an animation. So basically you can do traditional animation in Photoshop. Although it's not exceptional, what it's good for is it actually permits us to animate special effects, etc. Directly with the tools we already know, and that's what we're going to do tonight. So let me just check that everything is working right on the stream. Should be good. Yeah. Alright, so we are going to start with the axe drift. Nope, we are going to start with the axe, the trail we are going to have on our axe. So basically, in the game, I have to launch the game to show you. Okay. Let me grab that window. So, in the game, you can throw an axe and boom, hit stuff around. Like that. Okay, so what I want is actually when you throw the axe and it's flying in the air, to have some kind of, you know, rotate animation. And I want something that's a bit, you know, that feels a bit handmade. So I'm going to grab the original axe. Oh, it's actually like that. And I'm going to grab my layers. Okay. And I want you. I choose you, little axe. Alright. Okay. So we have our axe that we can animate. This layer in the background, I think I'm going to delete. Delete, delete, delete. Where's the dustbin? I don't know. My god. I'm going to delete it that way and add a new blank video layer. For the do we have a background? No, we don't have a background color. Ah yes, we have a background layer. I'm stupid. On the layer palette. Okay. All good. Okay, so we can basically, in Photoshop, you can twin some elements. So if I rotate the axe over a few frames, I believe that's... Nope, it's actually not being twinned in the video. Alright. I think it's going to be good tonight. Okay. So I'm going to work on the video layer and use the axe as a reference. That's then. So I want the effect to be quite subtle, but I'm going to work with black in order to see the marks, you know, I have in here. And there are a few ways we can do it in that case. We can either animate it by hand, like animate the axe rotating, you know, like that, and so have the traditional animation feel on top of, you know, having everything. Or we can just have an FX that we're going to make, you know, just like that, to give a sense that the axe is moving radially, and that we animate in a static way, and that is going to rotate with the axe in the game engine. And I think that's the way I'm going with right now. Okay. So animation, FX animation, it's quite repetitive, so just be prepared, because it's not the most it's not necessarily the most exciting thing. I'm going to turn on onion skinning, and let's see. Alright. So I'm going to do it very rough right now. Just do some research. So it's basically a line that's going to elongate and to break a bit. I think we need something more simple to do, and okay. Okay. So what is going to happen then is we're going to have to mark the blade of the axe, and basically we're going to represent the wind that flows around the axe, I'd say. I wonder if it's going to work though. Alright, let's try that. So basically we are going to represent here the movement of the wind, you know, flowing around our axe. And once again I'm starting with rough lines. And I'm going to put back, if you want to ask question, you can leave me comments. I'm reading them from time to time. Yeah, so basically it's going to be a loop, like some air flows around the axe. I'd like to see it in game, because I think that I'm messing up at the moment, and that it's not going to work as intended. So good thing with when you are using Photoshop is that you can actually transform the strokes. You can see in the view, making it very easy to edit your animation on the fly. We could try that. So I'm going to export it, convert everything to white. Can I hold on, if I can log the alpha in here, and I'm going to make it white. Oh yeah, it's the so I'm going to try that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm just going to delete the axes. And we're going to save it. I'm going to make an FX animation folder, and this is going to be axe trail. We're starting with nothing too exciting. Okay, what if I darken the background? Because right there it's... Okay. And lots of special effects in 2D are actually... how long does it take? George asks, how long does it take to do FX animation? It's extremely time consuming. In particular, if you start to do effects like explosions, etc. I'm doing everything by myself, right? When it comes to games. So for me, it's a pretty long process, you know, considering that I actually like the experience of a professional animator. A specialized animator would know, you know. Oh, you're welcome, Ryan. So basically, FX animation for the whole game, I'm thinking of about considering that I have to build everything from scratch this time, and including there's a lot of code-related polishing work that's involved, making that particle system, making some flexible code for tweening, etc. in Construct 2. I am allocating about 10 to 20 hours of work to it. But that's pretty exceptional for a small game like that. I would expect per animation, you know, you have about from 10 minutes to 1 hour of work for things like explosions and smoke, things that are really intricate. You'd need more like 2 to 4 hours of work for a proper animation. The stream is cutting. I'm sorry, because it's something I can't check, unfortunately, from here. And I have a limited internet connection, and I can't do anything to that. So I asked last week already if that's the case for everyone, you know, if the stream is bad, because the problem is the recording works on YouTube. There doesn't seem to be cuts in the end. And if I check from home here, I always get the stream properly if I check on YouTube. So I can't really know, sorry, if it's cutting or not. And if it's the case, as I offered, I could do, you know, record 30 minutes to 1 hour long demos and post that once a week. Instead of streaming, because I can't. I've checked and I can't. Sorry, I'm bugging at the moment. I can't increase my internet connection speed. So let me think. When you save a video, can you save it as an image strip? And I wanted to test that before. Okay, let me check if I can do it that way. So video export, can you do image sequence? Yes, perfect, as a PNG. Document size, I'm going to check if I can, if it crops properly. Document frame rate. Oh, I forgot to remove the background. So it's okay. So we have normally I should be able to crop. We'll see if it crashes. I don't know why. It used to work. All right. I'm going to try with the set document size action in Photoshop. Where's Hey, I want to open document. Okay, back to it. Art, it's FX animation and it's the X trail. And so I'm going to try that way with the canvas size tool. Alright, and it works. It works well enough. Okay, and I'm just going to reduce it a bit. Alright, it works. We have enough space to work with. We still have our background. And I'm just going to do that test export, and then I want to show you something really interesting you can do with Photoshop, with Photoshop's video animation system, which you can. This is something you can actually do with Photoshop all alone. So the export, I'm going to add an alpha channel, straight or pre-multiplied with white. Nah, straight should be okay. And we're going to do it in our folder, call that export, in our FX folder. Okay, render, boom, 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 should be done. And you'll notice I kept the axe, in that case that's... Okay, so I kept the axe, which is normal actually. Yes, I want one frame without the trail, and that's simply because I'm going to loop that animation. So, back to Construct 2, we are going to get our throwing axe. Come on, buddy. And you too, you're going to stick in here. So I'm going to take the axe, and it's... yes, it's the axe that's being thrown in the game area. And I'm going to import from files. So very important, whenever you are doing animation of all kinds for games, you have to check everything you're doing in the game, every bit of animation. It doesn't matter that... ah crap, it's true that I have to scale them down. Hold on. Yeah, because I always work at 2 times the in-game final animation size, image size, but I'm still going to try it out that way. So I'm going to set the pivot point. And I think it was in the middle for the axe, quick crop, and that's okay, and we're going to set it to half the size. For this time should work. Ah yes, I have to loop the animation, yes, and it should be... you can't preview it in C2 that way. It should be a speed of about 6 frames per second. And this one should be a bit faster. Okay, let's try that. So you can barely see the trail animation right now, and that's normal. That's fine. At least I could see it, kind of, so I have to make it bigger, and I have to add some color to it so it actually pops on the background. So I'm going to grab the game's background color right there, and I'm going to add, like to extend the effect for one to make it a bit thicker, because the axe is going to be quite small eventually. And yeah, should be good enough. And so I'm going to do something that's really interesting with Photoshop, because you have access to pretty much everything Photoshop has to offer as far as painting is concerned. You just log the layers alpha, and I'm going to grab a color from the snow, a dark one I think, and I'm going to... it's not a very realistic color for the wind, but I'm still going to, you know, try and make it more visible for everyone and inside the game. And keep in mind that for me, doing FX animation is still pretty experimental. I didn't have time. It's a pretty small game, so you know you want to be fast enough to work fast. Yeah, look, it starts to look like a sword or axe hit, you know, from an RPG game, and that's kind of the look I'm going for. So I have one trail in here, and what I actually want is, you know, I have one that's kind of working, and I want to add another one. Now that the main part is working, I want to add some kind of secondary animation. Ryan is asking, is Construct a good place to start learning game development? I'd say yes and no. Sorry to hear that the video is actually buffering every 5 seconds. It's pretty bad. I can't do much to that. Sorry. So I'll check an alternative solution for the next few streams, and I'll probably replace the stream actually with a video demo or something, you know, commentary every week. That would be just as good, I think, and I'll collect your question on Twitter or something like that. I'll see. So, is Construct a good place to start learning game development? Yes and no. It's a really good tool when you want to design games pretty fast. It's good if you want to avoid programming, in the sense that's still programming, but it's kind of simplified. The engine does a lot for you. It takes a lot of decisions, technical decisions for you in particular. The problem is, if you don't have like good programming foundations, you will struggle regardless of the tool you are using, because development at its core, it's not about the language, it's about the concepts. It's about understanding what variables are, what data is, how you handle it, etc. And Construct 2, the manual and the community will not teach you that. The tutorials you'll find around will not teach you that. There are, I know, no resource that actually teaches you the concepts behind programming without going through a language. And that's the problem with C2. The big problem I see. Now it's good for making games as a hobby. I do it, you know, it's my job as well, and I'm using Construct 2 right now because it's very efficient to design games. But I don't really know. I'd kind of recommend something like Game Maker maybe to start, or learning plain JavaScript. It's hard to give a recommendation. Ultimately, if you want to make games, I'd say go with C2. Start, you know, start with it, get a sense of what it takes to code and make a game, and eventually you can move into languages, you know. Yeah, I think that's a good place to start creating games, more than learning game development, because real development is it's not C2. Doing real development work that's closer to professional work, it's nothing like Construct 2, sadly. Okay, so I'm going to add a new layer, a video layer, new blank layer. Alright, and this one I'm going to snap with the other one on the timeline. Oh, all good. And I actually should have a trim button. Trim layer and... Nope. Okay, I can't trim it. Alright, so on the second layer I'm going to add the second trail effect will have a delay over the first one, and I have to start with white once again. It's easier. So when you're painting, be it regular assets or doing an underpainting, and whenever you're painting something, sorry, I was reading Charlie's comment, you want to do an underpainting most of the time. It eases your it actually eases your workflow. It's yeah, the stream is being recorded, Jonathan. Joe. Ah, my God. It's actually because the axe is supposed to rotate in game, and I'm kind of cheating. Instead of animating the axe's rotation, I'm actually animating the FX in an arc and keeping the axe static, and I'll just have that animation to maintain eventually in the game engine. So that's why. Okay, and it will have a 1 frame delay like that. Okay, quick cleanup. Come on, Photoshop. If I remove the onion skin. Okay, there's just a 1 frame delay, so it's it feels pretty close. You know, the both trails feel actually pretty close to one another. I'm going to refine that. And sorry, I just got in the middle of what I was saying. So, whenever you are painting something, you want to have an underpainting color. And it depends on what you want to do. Most of the time you want to have some kind of dark underpainting and paint light into it. It's much easier than to start with white and paint on white. You know, and when I say underpainting, it's it can be your canvas color, actually. Your background, the kind of like the paper texture you have when you are doing a real painting. And it can also be your local color, like you starting with brown, for example, for the axe, or starting with that dark brown and painting the inside. So depending on what I do, like here I'm starting with the light color, which is the white, and I'm going to add this darker blue in the outline. Hold on, I have to check. Yeah, the sampling was off. So I'm going to lock the layer once again, and I'm going to add the outline, which is easier in that case to get that kind of spiky outline, you know, spiky outline, and you know, and the white inside shows some spikiness instead of just being. If I did that the other way around like that, it's very hard to paint the white properly in the middle, and I get a much more rounded edge, which actually is interesting as well. But I want some kind of spikiness, although it will just be felt more so than seen by the player, because the animation is, you know, the axe is rotating, there's the animation playing, so it's quite fast. But it gives a sense of, you know, it's a blade that's breaking the air, in a sense. Yeah, it's the Dustfall soundtrack. It's actually some of the few. I have some music from Blue Giant, Zircon, and Dustfalls right now. It's the music I bought for the stream, because not all artists actually permit you to use their music while streaming. So the author, is it Lifeformed, the name of the musician? I'm not sure. If you buy the CD, you can actually use it during your stream or something, like live streaming or doing a live event of some sort. So I'm going to render the video again, and okay, I'm going to keep the images in the subfolder. Digits, I think it's not necessary, yeah. Straight, and okay, it kept my settings, all good. Okay, did it? Yeah. Okay, I have to re-render it one time and we'll be good to go. And one thing I could actually do is okay, I can actually change the size of the assets real quick, and I'll console that afterwards. And that's the kind of thing, guys, never do that, really bad idea. If you save or the software crashes, or you mess up your document forever. Okay, and we are going to test out the axe once again in real time. So because I changed the names, if you're a C2 user, you will know that you can re-import the frames from the folder you've been using, but because I actually changed the file names, I have to re-import them manually. I can't do just right-click and re-import everything from file. Okay, new quick test, and now it should look a bit better. Sorry, it's actually, I forgot that I changed the size. Yeah, all good. So the animation timing is off, and it really looks more like a slash than anything else. So I think I messed up. Let me check. Now we can preview the animation, get a sense of... Yeah, so here's what it's doing. Okay, it's a bit small, but if I show you in Photoshop, and can we loop the playback? Yes, we can. So hold on. I'm going to zoom out, and here's what it's doing. So yeah, it's a bit too small, too subtle for the game, and now that I've tried it, because you need to try the animation for yourself, see for yourself if it's working, etc. And now that I'm seeing that, I think it's actually better if there's either no animation on the axe, or if I animate the rotation myself, because it's a problem of the effect is not right for the effects, the animation speed, so I can make it change based on the axe rotation, but I think you need a few states where you have the FX running when the axe has a certain speed, and when it slows down you change the animation and you have a regular axe moving around. Okay, so yeah, I think that's that, and I think in order to have a good feel you need the... Oh good, I made a clean swipe. Maybe this would be interesting though for cutting the trees, the chop effect. Gotta think about that. So yeah, animation effects, at least for me, it's very experimental right now, and I still need to try things out and see whether or not it's working in real time. So that will be it for the axe trail animation. We are going to move on to something else. I want to make something simpler, and it will be the tree chop that time. Simply because it's much easier to do for me. So I have to make the document a bit bigger for now, and I'm going to keep that... Oh, my bad. Alright, and I'm going to get the tree, just the base here will be good enough, so I'm just going to get that. Alright, instead of the axe in this document, so it's a new Photoshop document. I'm keeping one for each animation, a separate thing, separate video doc, and this one I'm going to delete, and add a new animation layer. Alright. And we can... oh my god. Can I trim it? I would like to trim the end. All good. So I quickly trimmed the layer. So this effect, what is it going to be? Basically, quite simple. It's a swipe effect, like whoosh, whenever the axe is chopping the tree. So whenever you're, you know, chopping the tree, it's going to do something like, maybe, could be like that. I'm going to start with a strong yellow color, yellow range, which is quite the trademark color for chops and stuff. It's not light enough. Yeah, better. So I have a few options, considering that it's an axe and the blade is going to pass through the tree. I can do something like that. Some kind of star shaped effect. My god. I have to redo my hotkeys for animation. I'm going to change one real quick, because otherwise I'm going to make mistakes during the whole show. Where is it? Okay, and for M2 I want this one to be it's Shift F2, I think, and this one to be, I'll delete. Okay. And what if I do? Yeah, it's working. Okay. So I can do that kind of effect where you actually have that star-shaped break of the tree trunk. It's a bit hard to read at the moment. So I can do it that way, and I'm going to do a quick doodle to show you that. Hold on, where's my... okay, so Photoshop, really nice tool set, but it's not the best animation tool out there because of the interface of the ergonomics part of it. Okay, so real quick, reactivating the onion skin. It's just some test strokes, very rough. And most of the time you can get a very solid idea of the kind of, you know, the future result of the work you are doing. Samuel, last of the survivors. Oh, it's Roshan. Samuel Roshan. Glad to see you all there. Okay. Okay, it's actually... I see the problem. It's actually reset the video and to 5 seconds. Alright, so you can see that's a kind of chop effect, like whoosh, boom, a clean swipe. And I can add a new video layer. Okay, blank one. And Samuel, by the way, if you're still there, I was pretty glad to see the result of Entumbra and the upcoming Entumbra 2. I want to see more of the NV kind of guy. I don't know if this was a reference to Full Metal Alchemist, but that's actually I felt like you know, he kind of felt like Pride from FMA, the multiple eyes guy. And the second style I want to try is a swipe of kind of a sword swipe, but I'm not sure if it's. I think for a chop, the first effect I did should work. Alright. And you can see that with FX animation, I'm always going with 1, 2 colors. It has to be very simple because it's fast. It's not happening often. So you don't want to waste your time. If you put too many colors, it's actually going to look bad in real time because it's going to look messy for the viewer, even if the animation, the individual frames are really beautiful and they flow nicely into one another. It's not going to work well. Okay. I'm going to get that round. Ah, come on. That's an issue with the Photoshop interface. You're always grabbing stuff, you know. It's if you're not super precise, at least working with that. So I'm going to try that out real quick. I should be using my hotkeys. Okay. Okay. Some kind of swipe like that. Adding a bit more roundness to it, I think it could work. I'm going to. Yeah, this one could be nice. So by the way, when you're doing animation, when I'm doing the rough, I'm using the onion skin, which is basically adding, you know, some kind of transparency to your. Whenever you're working on any frame, you're seeing the next frame in transparency and the previous one. Most of the time, you can change the parameters, but onion skin shows your kind of. It's like seeing through multiple sheets of paper when you're doing traditional animation. And the problem is, it really, to me, it looks too messy when using onion skin. And there's another way to work, which is flipping, and you're flipping through frames back and forth. And that's really the way I like to work the most. But when you're doing your rough, it's actually good to have the onion skin to basically see through, you know, see a bit through your frames. So now when I'm flipping, I'm seeing and keeping in mind the position of elements from the way they move and the defects there may be from frame to frame. I'm keeping a mental image of, you know, where the last frame was, basically, and plotting where it's going afterwards. And yeah, flipping like that I really like. It's much more pleasant to me than using onion skins. But each person has a different taste. Is the music working? I know it's not. That's what I thought. Alright. So right there I have the base of the effect. Swipe going around the object. I should remove the first and last frame. Going to delete those. Come on. Yeah, this one I want to delete. Nope, not like that. Like that. And this one I want to delete. No, the last one I want to keep. Then. But the first one I want to delete. Yeah. To have a slightly more abrupt start. And those start and end frames are really tiny and really subtle, but they make a big difference to the full animation. I'm going to clean up that one. Alright, and now I want to thicken the effect a bit, because it's a bit too thin for a full chop with an axe, I think. And we have some more scale animation now, which is adding a slight, layer of complexity, quote unquote, to the animation. And the turn as well. Yeah, I think it's slightly better now. Okay, it's a very simple effect, but basically you're going to have chop, and then the tree will fall in the game. And I'm still going to try and make the other effect. Oh, what about combining the two? It's like chop and then schlack. Yeah, this one, because this one is nice. It's a multi-purpose effect, this kind of thing. And actually, when you look at the rough here, it's kind of working. You almost don't need to polish the animation that much. Going for a rough style like that could be very efficient. I don't know if you're talking about the animation or the Photoshop tools. But in the first case, thanks, and in the second case, the animation tools in Photoshop are pretty nice. They do the job, at least. And they do the job in your favorite kind of the program you use all the time. So that's the nice thing about it. But it's still not like animating with Flash. Oh, big mistake. It's actually moving around. Little spike, you're moving around. Okay. So yeah, in animation, what's the most important? Keeping the proportions, the orientation of the objects, really, really critical. And it's not pixel perfect, but pretty close. You really have to look at each and little bit of your animation, and in that case, I mean, it's a very easy FX animation, but I really have to look at each little spike individually, where it's going, at which pace, you know, it's moving, how it's evolving compared to the other spikes, what's its path of motion as well. And the one in the background, for example, was moving far too fast compared to the others. Here it's moving. So yeah, that's why at the start of the stream I said that it's a bit of a tedious job and repetitive one. I mean, it's pretty fun to do because it really adds to your game very fast, you know. That's the big advantage of FX. It really, if you are doing games that look good, but they look nice, the gameplay works well, etc. If you want to push them to the next level, it's FX animation about everywhere you can, everywhere it makes sense at least. I'm just going to take some water. Okay. And in the end, you know, it's going to be the size is going to be cut in half. And when you think about it, some of the animation I'm doing here is going to be like a few pixels wide, really small, tiny. But actually, it's a bit like you may see... Ah, thanks, Samuel. I'm glad you like it. And it's... yeah, in the end it's going to be really tiny, and you may think, you know, why bother then? You know, I know that it's going to be really small in the final game and stuff. And it's a bit like in pixel art. It's like when you animate as a pixel artist, you don't... Sometimes you can't even move the pixels. You can't just move parts of your character around the screen. So what you do is you actually have to animate the inside of the character, like the inside pixels, which is super hard to do, by the way. But hey, it's a bit slowing down a bit here. So yeah, it should be working now. Whoa, it's I have a massive slowdown. Okay. Okay, I forgot one spike in the background. So yeah, coming back to what I was saying. Sorry. It's going to be like small like a pixel in the game, but actually the position and the opacity of that pixel is kind of going to give the illusion of movement. And it makes a difference, strangely enough. It really does. That's pretty crazy. But that's why we spend so much time on animation, is that it actually, you make a difference with so little. Okay, and I'm going to copy the last frame, and the last frame is that kind of, you can see it a bit like a firework, that kind of effect. It's going, you know, it's exploding, and the sparkles are moving really fast, and at the end they are slowing down and kind of ending in a certain position, and the trail, their trail is somewhat catching up, the trail of light or something. So you have that last frame, you know, where it's twice the same thing. Normally you'd move them a little bit more, but basically you can keep them like that, and it adds that kind of permanence and yeah, a bit more life to the animation overall. And it's just one frame, but this last little bit makes a bit of a difference. And it's kind of explosive. You can see that it starts with a big frame like that, and generally hits you have little to no anticipation. And I could actually try, I think. Let me check. I'm going to add a frame if Photoshop lets me. No, can I? Can you trim in? No, he doesn't want to. Okay. Nice. How do I add a frame then? I think I can... should be able somewhere to add a frame. Insert blank frame. No, it inserts it at the end. That's weird. I don't really know how to do it. Okay, that may be the reason why I was on a hidden layer. Nope, I can't add blank frame at the start. Hold on, holy moly, what did I do? No, it's good. Going to try and add that frame on the 5th layer. Video layers. Insert blank frame. Okay, it inserts it just after your current frame. But what I want to do in here is kind of check making some form of anticipation frame and see the difference, if it actually helps. And it's a very simple frame once again. Ah yeah, it does. Ah yes, it kind of warns the user with the explosion. Okay, so I'm going to keep that one. Okay, just like that, and it's good. And we have 2 effects. Okay, I'm going to add some roundness to the 2nd frame in here. Okay, and go. Yes. Yeah, it looks nice. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, it feels better that way. And what about the other animation? Much simpler. Yeah, it's just a little slash. But we can have it chop the axe, and after the axe has passed by, boom, explosion, and the tree falls. Okay, I'm going to try and export both animations. First of all, I'm going to crop the layer a bit so it's hopefully not cropping the... well, almost. Okay. Okay, should be good. I'm going to export that. Just 1 digit. Okay. is going to be this one, tree chop 2. Alright. Now in our export folder we should have, great, the chop effect. Oh, I forgot to set it to half size before exporting. I'm going to export it again. So this one is tree chop 2 like that, and the other one, come on, I clicked on the crop tool once again. By the way, with the YouTube comment, I'm not sure it's really synced with the actual video, because I see them with a bit of delay, so it's a bit hard to know whether or not nope, that was a live stream. Okay. My god, I should actually do the live streams earlier in the day, because I'm not in the healthiest of states at night. But during the day everyone's working, so it's a bit hard as well to... Oh my god, it didn't keep the parameters. Okay. Okay, then back to image sequence, PNG, 1 digit, there's document size, alpha channel, all frames, and this one is tree chop part 2, and in the export folder and replace the document. Okay. And then generate image assets. Nope. Come on. Render video, tree chop, normal, it's the other layer. Yes, replace this one as well. Whoa. Okay, it seems like we lost the animation. Okay, so I want both of you. Okay, that's strange, but I still do seem to have my animation working. My god. The world of animation. Okay. Now we have it out. Okay, I'm going to close the document and try the animations out in Construct 2 real quick. So it's on layer 1, all good. And we are going to get tree chop 2, that one, boom, and his little brother, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. So, I have to place the image point. Let's check. Okay, make it faster. Even faster. Crop it real quick. Ah, my god. When you have the first frame like that, it's really a pain. Like tiny object, it's my god. Antumbra, Samuel. Really? Antumbra is another dev? The guy who made the game Antumbra? I think he has the same name as you, Samuel. Oh no, it's not Roshan, it's Rohan, I believe. Just one letter. I will have to check. Nope. I'm not sure. Oh my god, I can't check right now. But sorry if I was talking about the wrong person. Okay, so what I wanted to do is try something else, is have both animations in the same object. Okay. Isn't it the same? Yeah, I messed up again. Normally I can set the pivot because I work in the same Photoshop document at the same position. I can use that pivot point and apply it to all animations. So afterwards you can crop, and that's the great thing about doing traditional animation in Photoshop and having the ability to work in a fixed document. You do your animation and you chop everything, you know, you crop the empty part of the frames in Construct 2 directly, like that. And this one is going to be cropped chop. It's going to be explode or something, and this one is going to be cut. The cut animation, the first one. Okay, so I have to change the speed P to something like 12. Alright. Forgot that there are some problems with C2 and okay. So there are some ways when you're doing a two-step animation like that to make it easier on you in Construct 2. And one way is to, well, have it as a single animation and have a frame in the middle that's empty and that lasts for a few frames. And that's probably what I'm going for in here. But that's probably what I'm going for the first part of the animation, so I'm going to duplicate the frame and empty it. Like you have an eraser in here. So why is that? Because I basically want to be able to have kind of a good control of the timing. So I'm at 12 frames per second in here, meaning that each frame this empty frame lasts is actually going to be worth 0.08 something like that seconds. So I can basically put some kind of interval between playing this animation, because when this animation is done it's going to move to the next animation, which I'm going to call cut 2. I think it's easier that way. So I can put a delay of 4 frames like that, which is going to be 0.32 seconds. I'm just testing the cut animation in-game on the trees. That's the thing I want to check, and it's very simple, so it should be around collision with destructible. See, I'm going to... Okay. I'm going to do this one like that. It's going to be at the start of the layout. You want to destroy the chop. Okay. Come on. On layer, solid layer name for now. It should be good. So I'm going to spawn the effect, and this effect cut as finished, and it's tree chop to animation 2. Okay, so doing a very simple thing, and it's going to... Okay, I'm going to do it that way. It's some placeholder code for everything to the demonstration to work fine. I'm going to store the UID of the tree in order to trigger the tree falling down animation, and just when the effect changes, the animation switches, or after the animation has switched, the tree falls instead of falling instantly upon being chopped. And so we're going to have okay, we're going to tree chop. So I want to get that. That way, I'm just going to put a comment in the middle, and I want to set it to destructible dot skin UID. Okay, should work. Let's check that. And I had to destroy it when the second animation is done. Okay. Still fun to work. Okay, now I see who you are, Samuel, actually. Yeah. It's not the first time I'm actually taking you for Rohan, which is, I see you're the guy who did the runner game with zombies, right? Okay, so I messed up on... Yeah, I still have to pick the tree here. Okay, I'm going to... It's not working at all. My god. I see why, but one thing I find strange is actually in the animation there's some duplicate frame, I think. Yeah. I know I just inverted 2 frames. So that part is really strange. Destructible that. Okay, so tree.uid. Oh, okay. I forgot to change that one. Treechop dot. How did I call it? TreeUID. Yes, that's that. All good. Okay, so instead of spawning, I'm going to create object treechop tree dot layer name x tree dot x and tree dot y minus 30 should be good. Too high. Is it the right animation? Cut temp. Yeah. Okay. Why is it not working? I'm quickly reading your conversation, guys. The thing is, when it comes to the app markets, it's extremely competitive. It's very hard to make a living off of, in particular, Android. iOS is hard already, but Android in particular. It's not more exposure. It's games that are better adapted to the market, and rather than pure exposure, it's a fan base, people who are willing to buy your game, to play your game, etc. And there's no secret to it. You have to keep releasing games on a regular basis, or you have to do a business plan, kind of. Most of the time you have to start by working with publishers on mobile platforms. I'd say it's very hard to start alone, and lots of successful mobile game developers actually started with, something like those who don't work with publishers or who don't have a lot of industry experience. They started with Flash games, and a lot of contacts I know who make money off of mobile games and stuff, they actually started with Flash, and they have 5, 8, 10 years of experience, and yeah. Okay, I'm just going to try it that way then. Let's try with yeah, the cut animation works fine like that. Boom. It's a bit small, but kind of works. Okay, I'm moving back the window on the other screen, and I'm going to work on the next animation. The falling tree deformation. This one is going to be slightly more fun, maybe for you. It's quite simple actually. It doesn't require to do another animation, video animation. It's just going to be with those trees. Okay. Just going to make a new smart object via copy. And a quick thing for you guys, it's a pretty cool trick. Hold on. It's that actually when you are working with a smart object, you know you can transform anything. Whoa, why is there some stuff on the side? On which layer is it? I just have to get rid of that issue. It's on the leaves. Which layer? I messed up somewhere. Okay, it's here. Boom, boom, boom. Is it still the case? Is it still the case? Is it still? Okay, seems to be okay now. Nope, it's not. But whenever you transform something, you can actually warp it in here, and with the custom warp, you can actually access the warp tool. Boom! But it's a smart object, so you can do it here and edit it later. And so the good thing, when you have a tight budget for your game, and you're doing like a tree that's falling, and I need it to be chopped up, so I'm going to mask this part. Alright. For now, that's a quick way to do it. And so you can do your animation that way, of something falling. You know, you just use the deformation, and it works. It does the job. Keep a single image for the base of the tree, and yeah, kind of always separate your special effects. One reason for that is control. You know, you want to be able to create the FX assets via code and control its animation, etc. And you also can use a family in Construct too, whenever you I don't know, whenever you'd like to separate the effects and put them on another layer, or properly control their position in the Z order in the hierarchy. So yeah, it's kind of up to you, but that's what my 2 cents, that's what I'd recommend. Oh yes, just rounding out that part a little bit more. I'm on the wrong scheme. adding some real quick shadow at the bottom. Okay, and now if I remove the trunk cut, okay, so all the cheap tricks tonight. It's all good. So I do that, I do one, boom, it falls. And you can see that I'm deforming the tree at the moment, but it's actually a smart object, so I can reset the transforms at any point, you know, and I can edit the tree texture manually. And it's still, everything will be kept, you know, as it was. It will still work just fine. Alright, and I'm going to add one frame. Use smart object via copy, and I'm going to keep the mask, yes. So basically, before the tree falls on the ground, it's going to hit on one side. Oh, have a good evening, Charlie. Thanks for staying, actually. I think the music is, yeah, music is done. I'm going to put a new album on, and it's going to be big giant circles again. Nope. This one from Zircon to change a bit. Okay. So here I'm doing my animation in a very special kind of way. It's not a very common way to do it, but it's kind of using cheap tricks to make it faster. So I'm going to kind of mix basically I'm trying to use the final frame. This animation has two keyframes. There's the tree in the snow and the original tree that's standing. And in the middle, in between, I want to add one frame and two frames, basically. And I want the second frame to end up to fall and flow into this one. Which means that basically I'm going to add some guides in here. This part is in the snow, and that's the trunk where it should fall and hit. Ah, crap. And that's the kind of thing when you have complex objects like that, you don't want to do traditional animation like reanimate it from scratch. Doing that kind of effect works just fine, so that's why I'm going for it. Yeah, you can keep asking questions, no problem. I think I answered that one already. I'd say yes, keep a single image for the base of the tree and separate the effects, so you can use it for different kind of images in different places in the game, but also for absolute control in your code. And for all sorts of reasons, at some point you may want to break your effects into two animations with a delay in between or something like that. So yeah, keep it effects, keep them separate, keep the code separate as well, just so that you have some flexibility whenever you are making your game. Okay, I'm going to add a layer of snow here. So typical trick in animation when you are doing something like that, basically the tree is hitting the floor on this frame and it's going to create a little amount of snow already around it, kind of. And what's going to happen, you basically see the animation like that, the frames, and it's going to have some defects. Thing falling that way, boom, boom, and down on the ground. The thing is, okay, I have to add some snow in here. Okay, meaning I'll also have to move the leaves a bit like that way, yeah. I'm going to remove some of the snow. So what's going to happen on this frame is basically there's going to be an animation effect like whoosh, you know, some going to put it in black so you can see it better, but some snow going up like it's hitting the ground, so that's going to force some wave of snow to fly a bit in the air, something like that, which is going to hide all the issues with that image, you know. Everywhere it's typical visual effects animation. You're kind of hiding the object, and that's how it works in real life, right? It's not just poor work, it's still proper work, but you're trying to hide a bit the defects as well. You don't need to detail everything. That's, you know, you can see the image is blurry, a little bit blurry, and the visuals are nothing exceptional. But with this, if we make this FX animation sharp, and you know, we do it so that it works well, we give it great animation. Good evening, Daniel. And it's going to do the job real fine. Okay, so I have that snow. Excuse me. So I'm going real quick to add some shading to the snow. Very fast for that one. There's a huge delay, oh my god. Okay, so there are actually... because I see your comments on time. Oh my god. I'm actually going to leave it as a comment, because That's crazy. I can't leave a comment? Yes. There seems to be a huge delay between the and what I'm actually doing. Right, back to work. Okay, so I think for the next few times, yeah, I'll actually next time I'll actually record a process video because I checked the live a bit and it's buffering all the time and it's really not the quality is not satisfying at all. So what I can do is record on a topic and get your questions on Twitter, on Facebook, etc. I can collect them. I can announce the theme in advance and just record my work for 30 minutes to 1 hour or more. You know, I can do